When you override it with artificial clouds, you erase the anchors that tether them to you. They search for your smell, for the familiar rhythm of their kingdom, but all they find is perfume and poison. The fortress becomes foreign, and foreign means danger. And then there is the cruelest convenience of all, the timed absence. Leaving them alone longer than their instincts can bear, not because you must, but because it suits you. Hours become days. Days become weekends. A neighbor checks in, maybe, drops food, but the ritual is broken. The bond is abandoned. And your cat, loyal by nature, learns a harder truth, that loyalty is not always returned. The Catfather says it cold. Leave a soldier on the battlefield without orders, and when you come back, don't expect salute, expect silence. Science again confirms what instinct screams. Extended isolation without stimulation or care causes not just stress but neurological decline. Cognitive function weakens, play drive dies, curiosity fades, depression takes root. These aren't bad cats. These are betrayed guardians whose world has been stripped by convenience. And here's the brutal irony. Cats won't always show their pain immediately. They'll greet you, rub against you, maybe even lick you when you return. But the damage lingers. It builds. It calcifies into behaviors you call distant, aloof, grumpy. The truth is harsher. They aren't cold. They're wounded. And it was your convenience that cut them. But there is one mistake beyond all others. One act that doesn't just hurt, doesn't just scar, but can permanently break the bond. The Catfather calls it the unforgivable. And once you make it, there is no going back. There are mistakes a cat can forgive. Silence, emptiness, even the lazy shortcuts of convenience. They wound, they scar, but given time and effort, the bond can heal. But there is one act that crosses a line. One betrayal that no amount of play, food, or affection can fully erase. The Catfather calls it the unforgivable. It happens when absence turns into abandonment. When your cat learns not just that you leave, but that you are gone beyond their understanding. To them, hours and days blur, but eventually even instinct realizes the return isn't guaranteed. And in that realization, something fundamental breaks. The fortress collapses. The soldier stops waiting for the commander. The family stops believing in the bond. You see it in their eyes. The greeting at the door is no longer joy but formality. The purr fades into silence. The once tight rituals unravel. They eat, but not with appetite. They play, but not with fire. The spark is gone. Because trust, once shattered, does not rebuild itself. You can patch the walls, repaint the fortress, whisper promises into the night, but the foundation has already cracked. And in that crack lies the unforgivable truth. They no longer believe you will always return. Science marks the shift. Long-term neglect in cats is linked to behavioral withdrawal, refusal of interaction, even permanent changes in brain chemistry. Neural pathways that once lit up at the sound of your footsteps dim, rewired towards self-preservation. To you, it looks like independence. To them, it is survival. They don't stop loving you, but they stop expecting you, and that loss of expectation is the truest betrayal. The Catfather says it without mercy. Break a soldier's trust once, he might forgive. Break it twice, he'll still follow. But break it forever, and he stops fighting for you. Your cat is no different. Once the unforgivable settles, the loyalty that defined them becomes silence. They still live in your home, but their soul is no longer yours to claim. This is why leaving them alone without thought, without care, without preparation, is not minor error, it is mortal sin. You don't just risk stress or sadness, you risk losing the one thing that makes the bond sacred, their unshakable trust, and once lost, it never fully returns. So protect it, respect it, prepare before you leave. Leave scent, sound, rhythm. Leave reminders of continuity, proof that the bond survives absence, because to your cat, loyalty is sacred, and loyalty once broken, never grows back the same. Capisce? The Catfather never abandons his own. Neither should you. Plastic mice scattered on the carpet, a scratching post leaning in the corner, maybe even a fancy tower bought online. But toys without presence are corpses. They move only when you move them. They speak only when you animate them. Left alone, they are reminders of absence, monuments to the bond that isn't there. Your cat walks past them, sniffs, maybe bats one with a paw, and then abandons it. Not because they don't want to play, but because play without you is pointless. The ritual of the hunt is meant to be shared, the celebration of capture rewarded by the clan. Alone it collapses, and so the emptiness spreads. Hours drag. They wander from room to room, tracing your scent like ghosts searching for warmth. They curl in your chair, press their face against your pillow, bury themselves in your clothes. Not for comfort, but for proof. Proof that you exist, proof that you will return. Because when the world is empty, scent is the only anchor. Without it, even trust feels like lie. The Catfather calls it the betrayal of space. He explains, when the boss builds a kingdom, then abandons it, the soldiers lose faith. They wonder if he will ever return. And when doubt grows, loyalty dies. Your cat is the soldier, your home is the kingdom, and every empty hour corrodes the crown. Science again exposes the truth. Studies show that cats left in barren environments for long stretches develop signs of depression, lethargy, overeating, undereating, compulsive behaviors. They stop exploring, they stop climbing, they stop being predators at all. The emptiness starves their instincts until survival becomes waiting, and waiting becomes despair. A predator who does not hunt becomes prey to its own stillness. That is the betrayal of the empty world, and it does not stop there. Some cats develop learned helplessness. They stop reacting to the emptiness because they no longer believe reaction matters. You walk in, expecting joy, but you find indifference. Not because they don't care, because they have been trained by absence that caring hurts. They love you, yes, but the empty world has taught them to guard their hearts. They withhold affection, not as punishment, but as protection. The bond shrinks. The fortress you built together weakens. The cruel irony is this: most owners never see it coming. They walk in, hear the purr, feel the rub against their leg, and believe all is forgiven. But behind the purr, behind the greeting, emptiness has already done its work. Trust has eroded. The world has shifted. And though the cat still loves, the love is thinner, more fragile, ready to snap under the weight of one more betrayal. The worst mistake is still ahead, because beyond silence, beyond emptiness, lies something more dangerous: neglect disguised as convenience. And when you make that mistake, you don't just weaken the bond, you break it. The deadliest mistake isn't silence, it isn't even emptiness, it's convenience. The small, easy choices humans make to simplify their absence, choices that look harmless to you, but cut deep into your cat's trust. You think you're being practical. To your cat, it feels like betrayal. Take food, for example. You fill the bowl to the brim, walk out the door, and congratulate yourself. Plenty to eat. They'll be fine. But cats are not grazing animals like cows in a field. They are hunters. Their biology is built for rhythm, small kills throughout the day, fresh, interactive, earned. A bowl full of stale food is not kindness. It is insult. It tells them, you don't deserve the hunt. You don't deserve ritual. You deserve scraps poured in bulk and left behind. The Catfather growls it like this: when a boss throws coins instead of wages, he keeps his hands clean, but his men starve in pride. Water, too, becomes betrayal when left stagnant. Cats in the wild avoid still water because it signals disease, decay, parasites. They prefer running streams, fresh sources, life in motion. When you leave them with a bowl that grows warm, collects dust, and stinks faintly of metal, you're not offering hydration, you're offering suspicion. They approach, they sniff, they walk away thirsty. The body suffers, but the trust suffers more. The message is clear: I wasn't worth your effort. Even worse are the shortcuts of isolation. Some owners, desperate to keep order, shut cats into small rooms, bathrooms, or crates before leaving. It feels tidy, controlled, safe. But to a creature whose soul is territory, confinement is prison. The walls close in, instincts rot, and what could have been waiting becomes captivity. And when captivity repeats, it carves scars into the bond. The cat learns not just that you leave, but that you cage, and trust collapses. Convenience also poisons the air. You spray scents to freshen the home, light candles, leave machines humming. To you it smells clean. To them it smells like invasion. Cats live by scent. Their entire map of the world is chemical. You think leaving your cat alone is harmless. Just a few hours, maybe a day, and they'll be fine. Food in the bowl, water in the dish, toys scattered across the floor. But what you don't see is what really happens when the door clicks shut. Your absence opens a wound in their world, and certain mistakes cut deeper than claws. Cats don't cry out like dogs. They don't howl at the window or scratch the door in desperation. They suffer in silence. And that silence hides damage to their mind, to their body, to the bond they share with you. Some mistakes are small, but others hurt them in ways you can't take back. The Catfather warns you: avoid these traps or you'll break a trust that took years to build. Because your cat may forgive, but they never forget. Stay with me until the end, and you'll discover the hidden dangers of leaving them alone and the one mistake that can shatter their heart forever. Capisce? You think they're fine. They're not, and the Catfather is about to show you why. The first mistake most humans make is assuming silence means safety. You close the door, you hear nothing, and you think your cat is fine. But silence isn't peace. Silence is weight. Cats are predators, yes, but they are also creatures of territory, ritual, and connection. When you vanish, their entire map fractures. And because they don't scream like dogs or panic like children, you never see the fracture. It happens quietly, invisibly, until it rewires their trust. Picture the scene from their eyes. The house is a fortress built around your scent, your voice, your movements. Every step you take, every breath you release, every routine you repeat stitches security into their world. Then, suddenly, the fortress collapses. You disappear. Hours stretch into deserts. Your scent fades. The rituals stop. For a creature built on constancy, this is not absence. It is betrayal. And the longer it repeats, the deeper the wound cuts. The Catfather says it plainly. A boss who vanishes without a word doesn't inspire loyalty. He inspires fear. Your cat feels the same. When you leave without preparation, without anchors, you send one message: you are alone. Figure it out. And they do. They adapt, they endure. But with every adaptation comes a scar. Stress hormones rise, cortisol surges, heart rates quicken. The predator becomes prey to its own chemistry, trapped in cycles of anxiety that you never hear because they don't howl. They sit, they stare, they wait. The damage blooms in silence, and it shows. Small behaviors reveal it if you know where to look. The cat who once slept peacefully now paces between doors. The one who once greeted you calmly now bolts to the window the moment your shadow disappears. The one who once purred freely now hides under beds, clinging to scraps of safety. You think it's mood. It isn't. It's the echo of abandonment replaying through their instincts. Science confirms what instinct already tells. Studies on feline separation reveal spikes in stress markers after as little as 2 hours of isolation. Prolonged absence reshapes behavior: over-grooming, destructive scratching, refusal to eat. These are not quirks. They are protests written into flesh. Your cat doesn't punish you when you leave. They punish themselves. Tongue scraping fur until bald patches bloom, claws shredding fabric until nothing remains, stomachs tightening until food feels like poison. They carry the cost of your absence on their bodies. And here is the cruelest part: they don't understand time the way you do. To them, minutes and hours blur into the same ache. You promise you'll be back, but promises mean nothing in a language without clocks. All they know is now, and now you are gone. That uncertainty crushes them. Will you return? When? At what cost? The silence offers no answers, only questions. Most humans ignore this, believing food and water are enough, but survival is not life. To reduce your cat to full bowls and empty hours is to miss the entire truth of who they are. They don't just need sustenance, they need continuity. They need signs that even when the door shuts, the bond remains. Without it, trust corrodes, the fortress crumbles, and silence becomes scar tissue. But silence is only the beginning. The second mistake cuts even deeper, because it doesn't just wound their trust, it wounds their soul. And once it happens, no amount of food or play can erase it. If silence is the first wound, emptiness is the second. A house without you is more than quiet, it is hollow. To a cat, territory is everything. Each wall, each object, each corner carries scent and memory. When you are present, the territory breathes. When you vanish, the air changes, the rhythm dies. The world becomes stage without actors, room without meaning, and in that emptiness, your cat feels the betrayal of being left behind. You think the toys are enough,